Hello there, you're listening to Inside the Techosystem, a podcast where we'll bring you fun and insightful topics about tech and its ecosystem in Nigeria. I'm your host, David Chuka, and I'm joined by my co host, Emmanuel. Hey, G.
Hey, what's up? What's up? How's it going over there?
This guy, you've lost your roots. You don't greet
What?
like you usually do anymore. What's
Eh,
happening?
they say if you
Yeah.
go to Europe, you should act like a European.
Oh,
So,
no. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Anyway, today is
actually,
not
Europeans don't
about
even say what's up. So, yeah.
today is not about roots and Europeans. Today is actually about Web3. And who better person to talk about Web3 than a very good friend of mine, Busayo. Hello, Busayo. I'm so glad to have you on the show. Please introduce yourself and, just tell us all the cool and awesome things about you before we get into the episode proper.
Hi guys, my name is Busayo. I'm a software engineer and a technical writer as well. Basically got into Web3 or I'll say blockchain in 2019 actually, where I won a conference to attend the DevCon 5 from Ethereum Foundation. So that's like my first point of contact with blockchain, and then I did we took some courses and we learned like a little bit about like Ethereum and some other projects or blockchain projects, but I wasn't so um let's say keen on it because like there were not much communities around me. I didn't know who to speak to and stuff, so I sort of like derailed, went back to like writing like my day job, C sharp, .NET Core, finance, fintech. And what I did was just that I held some crypto, then like I held Ethereum and some other coins. So the deal breaker for me was last year when I came across communities and where I got a job to work as a technical writer. So that was what like exposed me to the technology proper, and I could like understand like the application of what I learned back then in 2019. And from there, it's just been really cool. It's been an exciting journey. I'm like in so many communities right now. Developer DAO, Graphica, Women Build Web3, and it's been fun. I've done participated in like a couple of hackathons and trainings, fellowships, etc. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
So that's amazing. So I mean, I know we said tell us about you, but you went on to tell us about your blockchain life. But we actually want to know about you because on this
It
podcast,
shows the
whenever
passion
we bring,
now.
yeah, I know she's passionate. Whenever we bring
I know,
guests on
right?
this podcast, we try to get a little bit of insight into where these guests are coming from. So
Okay.
can you tell us a little bit or give us a little bit of a background, what you do, what you were doing before you got into blockchain? Because I know you did not just wake up and say, I think I'm going to do blockchain today.
What if I did?
No, I knew you before blockchain, so I mean you can't tell me that.
All
So
right.
just give us a little bit of your
Yeah.
background on what you
So,
do and yeah, how
yeah.
how did you get into tech and what
Yeah. Yeah.
has led you to where you currently are?
Okay, sure. So, I'll say like, I mean, it started like before I got into the university anyway. So, I used to like play a lot of games, and there's this particular game that actually like got me like really interested in tech. Is Mavis Bacon teaches you typing. So there's this like penguin game in the app that you have to like. I mean, you type and then the penguin jumps from like one place to another. So back then I was like, oh, this is really cool. I was curious on how stuff like that were being made. So I actually wanted to become a game developer. That was like my initial like thoughts, and that's what I thought I was going to be. And then I proceeded to like study computer science. I went to one of the best federal universities in Nigeria, Federal University of Technology, Akure. Um,
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I proceeded to study computer science. So when it's like the only problem was just that we didn't like really have a lot of like practical stuff But to be fair, they taught us like the things that were supposed to be taught at that level. But then the issue was just like we didn't like really apply it. Not a lot of us applied it. Though some people like tried to like apply. Some people went into coding, networking and stuff. So back then too, like I used to join like boot camps, learn like different languages, C sharp, Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, whatever, like in basic level. But then like the um industry experience was when I went on my internship where I worked with a financial organization and I had to like learn Java, write Java, code some really old languages then like JSP, Java server pages. Nobody uses them any longer. But then
Ooh.
like that was like that
This is
was
the
like
first time
my
I'm
first
hearing about that. Oh. What's that?
yeah
Sorry.
JSP,
What?
Java server pages. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm Gen Z. I don't know what JSP is,
Yeah,
man.
you
I know
can't
you're
you
40 years old.
you can't. But yeah, it
Okay.
was like really
Okay.
cool. Then like that's like my interaction like with like I mean build like in code a real life application and work with it and stuff. And then after I graduated from the university, my service and my NYC year, I worked in a cybersecurity company essentially as a junior developer. So I was working basically like with the social engineering team. Then from there I moved to a Microsoft partner company where I was using mostly like Microsoft tools. So it was at that point I actually like switched from using Java to using C Sharp and .NET because C Sharp, Microsoft, and then mostly like Microsoft tools, Azure, Microsoft Azure, and basically anything Microsoft.
Mm.
And there I worked on some Microsoft products. I also worked on some products for the federal government of Nigeria, DPR. Crazy times actually,
Oh wow.
because government work is actually like not fun. To be fair, like
So were you like a civil servant? Like, did you have civil servants in your bio?
no, no. I think like my most embarrassing time then was when so I was supposed to demo something. We were building like an appraisal system for them, and I was supposed to demo something. And then after demoing, one of them like staff there was like, "Sorry, I'm meaning to ask you like how old are you?" And I'm like, "What?
Oh
Like
wow.
what do you mean
How
by how old
how
am
old were
I?"
you? How old were you?
Oh, I think I was like maybe 21 or 22. I can't remember. 21, 22, 23. I can't really remember. It's
Okay.
not like I'm very quite old right now.
So
I
now you're
mean,
40.
No,
no,
no, no, no.
like
Hey,
I'm
hey, hey, hey,
really old
Emmanuel, we
right now.
respect our guests on this show. Sorry, please don't mind him. So wait, that's
Like,
pretty interesting.
yeah, and
Can
then
you
from
like,
there, like moved to like, I now started working like proper like fintech and banking. So I worked in
yeah,
like some fintech and some banks. Yeah,
wait, Busayo, I'm actually very curious about this government gig because, you know,
yeah,
we this is basically a Nigerian podcast, right?
yeah.
We don't have a lot of guests come on the show and tell us they work for the government, right? So I don't know. Can you like give us a brief overview of how that was for you?
So, let me not lie, it was crazy because like they don't know what they want. They
Oh
don't know
wow.
what they want. Like today you come, you demo something and another person comes and like, no, I want it like this. And the thing with them is so they move them departments, that they move them from one department to the other. So and I was
Mm,
working like I think the project then was for upstream, drilling, whatever, petroleum stuff. Like I had to learn a lot of like petroleum engineering stuff, terms and terminologies and whatever. And then like when they moved somebody away from department and brought another person, that person too came with his own like features and stuff. So like even if you guys agree like on a future, just forget about it. They will still come and add their own features. It was like
oh
really
wow.
crazy back then, like no breaks at all.
Yeah, that sounds
But
like a lot.
I mean it was an exposure. I mean I understood and I was like, never again. I'm never doing this kind of thing again. Anyway,
Regardless of the money, what if they offer you a lot?
regardless of the money. Sorry, the stress is more than the money.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay. So there you have it,
Yeah.
folks. Government work is not for the faint-hearted.
Yep.
But but
So-
but the argument of money versus the stress. There was one time on Twitter that they posted that they collected, was it 40 billion or so for websites.
I mean, to
That's
be honest, like they do throw money out. There's money in the government, but
yeah.
as a developer, you will be stressed. except maybe you want to like give them a medical job, something that is
Mm.
Mm.
like
I think,
barest minimum.
yeah.
Can you be
I,
more stressed in working for government than working for Nigerian banks?
Oh, I don't even know which is
wow.
worse. Okay, government is worse
Where do you
in
get these questions from?
government is worse in the sense that you don't even have like a specific direction. Like things change.
Mm.
Like
Too
you don't
quickly.
even like get to like have an MVP soon. And government, you will launch the app before the MVP is ready because
Oh wow.
there was a party, a launch party.
I'm
What?
sorry. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
couldn't
I'm
attend the
sorry.
party. I couldn't attend the party. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I worked on this thing, but I can't because I'm ashamed. The app is not ready.
Oh
I
my
can't be
goodness. Oh
attending
my
one party.
goodness.
But the thing with
That's
banks is
crazy.
that at least you have like an MVP, but it won't go live to customers.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it will keep
All
Okay.
going
right.
like in circles. Yeah.
So you just gave us an idea for a future episode where we're going to bring a government official and ask him or her questions. So thank you very much.
So speaking about Web3, you've talked about like how you eventually got into Web3 and all those kind of things. But some of us don't actually know what Web3 means. When I say some of us, as at maybe 3 months ago, I probably didn't really know what Web3 is. I know they will say Web3 is more like there was Web1, there was Web2,
Mhm.
and then there's Web3. That's probably the most that I know about Web3, right? So how would you explain how would you explain Web3 to a 5-year-old?
Might be hard for a 5 year to understand. So can we do like a 12-year-old or a 15?
12-year-old. I think 5-year-old is actually the best because if you cannot explain to a 5-year-old, then maybe what you're
12-year
working
old
on
works for
is.
me. 12-year old works for me. Busayo, let's do 12-year old, please. At five, I knew nothing.
All
All right,
right,
let's
let's
do.
go with that.
Yeah. So and I like how like you mentioned like Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Basically like that's like the progression of the web. So the web started like from Web 1 and Web 1 was basically like the first stage of the World Wide Web. So there were few content creators and majority of the users were more of consumers than creators. So for Web 1, like you had like a lot of like personal web pages, like static pages, and as at then too, like things like advertisements on websites, like ads were banned. And I think the era spanned from like 1994, 1991, sorry, I think to 2004. And basically, like I said, static pages, content is basically like from the server system, see stuff like using frame and tables to align the page. So that's basically like Web 1. And you can call Web 1 to so it's called like read web, meaning you can only read, you couldn't really like write to it. So then it now progressed to Web 2, which is called the read and write web, and it's also called social web. Social
Mm,
web because like it allows for interaction, and it actually like became famous after a conference, Web 2.0 Web 2.0, a Web 2.0 conference, and then the term was coined from that conference. So
mm,
basically like an let's say an enhanced version of Web 1.0. So I mean you could not only like do like static pages. We're having like things like dynamic pages. People could share like their perspective. We brought an era of like social media. So like people could share their thoughts, their opinions. It was basically like applications that allowed people to interact more with each other. So you see like blogs, someone like posts a blogs, another person can comment. So basically like participatory web. So yeah, there are so many like examples and applications of like Web 2, like podcasts, just like we are now. It came like it was birthed from like Web 2, speaking, receiving feedback, blogging, tagging, bookmarking, social media, social networking basically. So striking features I'll say of Web 2 was dynamic content, then information flows between like a website owner and a website user. Then it brought about like development of like APIs, and which brought about like building like of software applications. Then so like information is like everywhere, and
Mm.
users can retrieve and classify the information collectively, basically. So read and write, basically, participatory, or you call it social. So like just involves like interaction. Then we now have like Web3. So Web3 is, like I said, Web 1, read web, Web 2, read and write. Web3 is read, write, and own.
Oh
So
wow.
basically, like
That
it
sounds like a real estate thing.
yeah. So basically, like it preaches like a transparent internet. So data is shared and data can be owned by a person. So and it's built, the concept of the of Web3 is a web that is based on blockchain. So and decentralization. Decentralization in the sense that you don't need a permission to post anything on the web. So like right now, we have Twitter, for example. If you post
Yeah.
something, you can get banned, can get
Yeah.
reported, and stuff. But like what Web3 preaches is that there's no like central authority or somebody that can control. There's no central controlling node. There's no
Okay.
like maybe for example
Did you
like
just say node?
yeah, there's no central. There's no like
There's
single
no
point
node
of
now. Yeah, he
there's no,
understands. Don't mind him.
there's no single point of failure. There's no like kill and switch. Not like the goal is that if AWS is down, Zoom shouldn't be down, stuff like that. Yeah, that's the whole like concept. And it's also it doesn't preach like it doesn't preach trust. It preaches like trustless and permissionless. So like you don't need permission to do something. You just know that that's how like it should be done. And
Okay.
apart from the blockchain side too, like it also relates to artificial intelligence and machine learning. Like basically the whole concept from Web 2 of AI and machine learning was that Web 3 was meant to like advance and leverage on it. So it's supposed to use like
Okay.
data and algorithm to imitate how humans learn. That is why we're talking about stuff like metaverse, for example,
Okay.
because it involves like AI and machine learning to improve like accuracy. So and then for Web3 we have like different use cases and different categories. So I can mention some. There's DeFi, decentralized finance. It's
All
basically
right.
like to improve the traditional finance we have. So traditional finance like lending and investments. For Web3 is like staking and yield farming. Then we have DAOs. That's more
Okay.
like the company version of Web2, meaning like decentralized autonomous organization. So there's no like the way heads like CEOs or CTOs are picked is based on like a voting system. So people like
Mm.
set of people like come and vote, and yeah, it's an open
Mm.
voting and people. Then we have like GameFi, like game to earn, play to earn kind of thing. There's so many like applications. But I would say like the reason why Web3 is important, one of the reasons is like identity, for example. So if you create like so traditionally, for example, like you create an account for every platform that you use. But then like people might come with the argument that okay, there's single sign on, right? So Web3 actually comes to like help you, like you have control of your digital identity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
have control of your identity with your address. So everybody like has their own like unique address and your ENS profile. So it's just you can use that ENS address everywhere on every like platform, and like it's more like the it's like it's let's say I don't want to call it central because I'm avoiding that.
Okay.
But basically like that's like your digital identity. And
Okay.
then another reason why Web2 is important is when I mean for me basically personally, I would say like it has helped like me in terms of like payments. So like for Web2 you have to rely like on banks and payment
Yeah. It has
processors.
helped me to actually praise God.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. And you're even as well. So like you don't have to wait for like your bank to
Yeah.
solve a problem for you. You can easily like
Yeah.
send money and yeah, receive money
Yeah.
easily.
And
So
there's
yeah.
enough fintechs in the game.
Well,
Yeah.
that that was a great explanation. It may be a little bit too much for a 12-year-old, but I mean, we actually understood, to an extent what you were talking about, especially coming from Web 1 and Web 2, Web 3, because, looking back is the best way to look forward. Quote me,
Hmm.
David Chuka, 2022.
Hey, hey,
Yes.
hey.
All right. So I'm actually very curious because the thing is that Web3 people do not let us hear word
Hmm.
on any platform. There's
Interesting.
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, So I'm actually very curious as to what the buzz is about. You mentioned why Web3 is kind of important to you. You mentioned a
Hmm.
couple of use cases, right? But we've had, I don't know, I don't want to talk about technologies, right? Technology in the past, we've had
Hmm.
a lot of technologies come with a lot of buzz, and they end up just being a fad, right? It's just something that just comes for a while, stays,
Hmm.
and then it goes. But a lot of people have made the argument that Web3 is not going anywhere, right? And some
Hmm.
people are betting their
Mm,
entire careers, betting their entire, you know, lives on Web3.
Yep.
So why would you say that is? What do you think the buzz is about? Why does this particular technology look like it's not going anywhere? Why do we think we're going to see it hang around or stay around for a long time?
mm,
Yeah. First of all, like I'll say the sense of like decentralization, or yeah, and the sense that people can kind of like own, or have a little bit of control over like their assets or what they do, is a reason why Web3 might stay. Another reason is the incentives that keep coming from Web3. People want incentives, so it's a reason why like it can still stay. And basically, like the how will I put it? Like the technology itself, is really fascinating. Like it's a technology that's it's more like a new piece of technology that people are trying to like experiment with. So like basically humans, like they are quite curious about technology, so people want to like keep working with technology, keep improving the technology. So it's more like it's I would say like TBH like is here to stay, and people are going to keep building on it. But the more like people build on it, the more they see like the need for like other tools that need to be built, and then other people like come and start building on it. And there are still like a there are still a few people who are actually into it. And the thing with Web3 too is that, from my own experience, see, if you once you like get into it, and once you like have like um this let's say this lights or whatever, this light that, or when you get to like that aha moment, then put it that way, you just like enter a rabbit hole which you might not be able to come out from. So most people too have like fallen into rabbit holes once they like experiment and play with technology, and that's just it for them. So as long as people keep falling into rabbit holes, technology is here to stay. I'll say that.
mm.
Okay.
I'm waiting for when I will fall inside my own rabbit hole, sha.
I'm also waiting.
Yeah, so it's like a follow up to the question about the pause. Web 2 was technically the same thing as Web 1, just that maybe they improve the quality of browsers, and maybe they increase the scale of backends, right? So it was basically still the same technology. So things just got finer, and people there are more databases for people to store stuff, and people can
Yeah.
post data and write content. And then Web 3, right? Based on the buzz, so someone might think it's a new internet. This is like a reference to Silicon Valley. It's like maybe you're building an entirely different infrastructure for the internet, right? But from
Yeah.
what I've read, it seems like Web3 is building on top of Web2 in terms of
Yeah.
like it's still the same server clients infrastructure, the same internet we're going to use. So what
Yeah.
really like makes Web3 like what really makes it special, right? What makes the I know the blockchain is like one of the fundamental things about Web3, right? So what makes it so different from Web2 that it should be something that everybody should start building things on top of it?
Okay. Well, first of all, if you want to build something, you have to like reference what was available. So like the reason why some Web3 products are still like leveraging Web2 is you still need to build on the web. So you still have to like, you can't throw like what you have away before. You still have to like, build on it. So like once you build on it and you get to a level that you see that okay, the tech the tech might not be sufficient enough for you, then you start thinking of like ways where you can build your own like version. Yeah, yeah, your own version. For example, I'll give you an example. For example, now we have like Google Drive for Web2 where you can store your files and stuff in your own version. So we have like things like IPFS, Web3 storage now. Then we have things like Vercel, for example, which is Web2, where you can deploy your projects. So when people like, yeah, I mean, people start like using Vercel and stuff, and you see that, oh, okay, it's not like decentralized enough as I want it. So we have like solutions now. There's Flick, there's Sperion that are like that imitates Vercel, but then like they are a decentralized version
Mm.
based on like
Oh,
the blockchain. So
okay.
you can trace stuff on the chain. We have like explorers where you can like trace stuff, interact with contracts and things. So and the thing also with Web3 is that it's transparent. So like if you have an address, you can basically like go to the chain and study it. It's open for everybody. It's not like there's a, for example, like we have in Web2 we have like databases.
Mm.
For example, like your account balance and stuff. I can't see it. Like if you give me your account number, I won't know like how much is your account and stuff, and it's a bit like hidden and stuff. But like for Web3, you just need like your address, and I mean you can check out the person's like history. It's
Eh?
very transparent. Yeah,
So I
unfortunately,
can
but
get your account balance.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if you have
I
my
think
ENS, you can check how much I have in my wallet. You can
Yeah,
check like
I
my
think
interact.
they take decentralization to a whole new level because I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember the NSAS period time where people were talking about who chopped money, who did not chop money on the blockchain, and it was really crazy because everything is traceable, right? So you know,
So I'm about to ask another.
All right.
Sorry to cut you. I'm about to ask another annoying question. So this blockchain thing, right? Are they built on AWS? Are they like did they did they build their own servers or they still rely on like third party services?
mm,
Not gonna lie, they still rely.
okay,
Okay.
Presently, most of them still rely on AWS, but builders are building their own version
Okay.
already. But like I said, you still have to leverage like the existing technology,
Okay.
and then like after research and you see like loopholes, like how you're going to like build your own technology. But yeah, they're still like reliant on like AWS. But like the thing with Web3 is that it's also I'll say it's also like distributed. So basically, like a blockchain is not meant to like go off or like have a downtime.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like up and
mm,
have like fault tolerance system and stuff, and then
Yeah.
consensus mechanism, stuff like that.
yeah, okay. So I'm really curious. We've talked about decentralization, we've talked about centralization, and it still feels like Web3 is still a little bit centralized. I don't know if you
Yeah, I mean Rome wasn't built in a day. To be fair, Rome
yes,
wasn't built in a
and
day.
neither was Web3. Web3 wasn't built in a day for everybody listening.
Isn't
They
Isn't
have not finished building it now.
they not be
yeah,
okay?
exactly. I think builders are still
Builders
building.
are still building. Yes. Okay. Great. So
Mm.
my question is, do you think centralization is such a bad thing? Right. Exposing people's account balance and account number. I know
That
it
sounds
seems a
scary.
little bit over the top, Maybe police stops you on the road. You're like, so I don't have any money. Police opens your wallet address and say, is this not you? Are you
I
are you
mean,
not?
like that's just one of the applications. That's
Yes,
just what they
yes,
sell
I
for.
know. But like, you kept talking about how, at this time you own your content, you own this, you do it, like anything you create, it's yours, right?
You
But
own them,
I feel
but
like
another person if you see them.
I feel like apart from that, I feel like a lot of people, right? Maybe more than 50% of people actually really don't care. When people come and say, "Oh, Instagram is selling your data, Facebook is," a lot of people don't care. I'm just here, I'm chatting with my friends. I don't even do I even have enough data for them to sell? Like that is not even that's not my none of my business right now. So what's your personal opinion on decentralization? Do you think um it's such a great thing that every single thing should be decentralized? Like, what are the aspects or what are the areas in real world where you'd say, oh, it would have been great if this was decentralized, and a large number of people would agree with you? Because sometimes, or personally for me, when was trying to learn about Web3, blockchain, and everything, and then I get to a YouTube video and they say, oh, Web3 is built on a decentralized, I already lose it there because I'm confused. Like, why don't start the discussion with decentralized? But like over time, I understand what it means, right? I understand what people are talking
Mhm.
about. So, but like a lot of people, like the average person, right, would not really care about who owns my data and who owns what, right? A lot of people really don't care about
Yeah.
that, right? So I'm just curious to know your stance or understand um
Okay.
what you think about decentralization. Is this such a what is centralization such a bad thing, right? That you think everybody
No, no,
should
no.
eventually.
Centralization is actually not like it's not necessarily a bad thing, to be fair, actually. But it's just that he doesn't just give you like a lot of freedom to do a lot of things. Like you're still bound. For example, so I mean, if GitHub comes today and say they're taking down everybody's project, you can't
Mm,
do anything about it.
oh,
You
okay.
get like they can just on their own that you can't do anything about it. They can like say, okay, if you're in China, you basically use GitHub. If you're in this country, you can use GitHub, stuff like that. But when it comes to like Web3 and the whole concept of decentralization, it has to pass through like governance. There has to be voting. So like
Mm,
people have
Mm,
to like the people's voices will be heard. So that's the thing that I
mm,
actually like about decentralization. The fact that things like decisions are made based on like voting power, not like a single entity. To be fair, like I would say it's not really, in my opinion, I don't think we are going to be like 100% decentralized, to be fair, because there are still
mm-hmm,
some things
mm-hmm,
that we still need to like
yeah.
include, like government, central authority, and stuff. And
mm-hmm.
you can't just be saying everybody should just do anyhow. No, that somebody still has to like um have control. But then like the control just it won't be bad if
Yeah.
the control is a little bit like reduced
Mm,
and people like have just a
Mm,
little more control than they currently have. But I will say that I'm not sure
okay.
like we can actually attain 100% decentralization, but we can strive to be more decentralized.
Mm. So things like government banning Twitter or banning crypto, which I feel like we should talk about after a while, right?
Yeah,
Government banning Twitter, that
exactly.
cannot happen in a more decentralized environment because you can't
Yes,
really,
and
you
yeah,
know.
and then people are already like building like their own social web. So we have things like Lens Protocol that they are building
Mm-hmm.
their own like version of like their own social platform. So there's no like single entity that will say you guys can't, you guys are banned from using this app and stuff. No, nothing like that.
but then can
Except
they? Because crypto is actually
um,
decentralized, but the government still banned it.
Did they?
crypto is centralized, but the government still ban. Yeah,
They
they
didn't
ban it,
ban it.
but people still like
People still
find
use
their way.
crypto.
They ban
No,
it. I
okay,
mean,
so
but
the banning
people
is not necessarily like you can trade, but you cannot
It
withdraw
just
into your
makes
bank
it
account.
illegal. No,
No,
you
no, no. You,
can.
you, you can you
yeah,
can trade P2P, but you cannot withdraw money from your crypto wallet into your Nigerian bank
you
account.
shouldn't. I don't think you should even. You're not supposed to do P2P. Like they're not meant to.
Yes, you are. You are not
They're just supposed
supposed to
to
do.
use.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
So
it's illegal because if a police comes
yes.
to me and sees me like doing P2P, I hope a policeman listen to this anyway. But um, but like it was, but that's the thing about like You see, that's the thing about change. No matter how like they try, like the central authority tries to like ban, it's still going to work. Like it's still going to work because of how
I think
it's structured or how it's.
I I think Nigeria is one of the funniest countries because you know, according to the government, crypto is banned, right? But like you drive around in Lagos and every billboard is advertising a cryptocurrency app, you
Exactly.
know?
It's so wild. It's
So
so wild.
so what is the logic here exactly? What is the logic here? Right? In fact,
Exactly.
Hmm.
You still
some
have
of the
like
shows
companies. I
so
don't want to mention
exactly
names,
some
but
of
they
the
seem to
shows
bring
on
on like
TV, some of the Nigerian TV shows are sponsored
exactly,
by cryptocurrency companies, right? So
exactly, and they bring in like big celebrities
mhm.
as their brand ambassadors. So I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's a funny country.
we keep saying we're running on vibes, but I mean, it's basically the truth.
Yeah.
So let's talk about NFTs and the metaverse.
Alright.
Now,
Alright.
first of all, I'd like to know, do you own any NFTs at the moment?
I own a couple of NFTs, but not like the kind of NFTs you're thinking it is.
Like
Yeah, nepotism.
No monkeys.
No, no, nobody, not those kind of
you
NFTs.
don't own a
The
board
NFTs
ape
I own
NFT.
are basically like NFTs that will enable me like join, like be a part of a community.
Okay, okay. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'd
Probably,
like
I
for
think you
you
should
to
expand on that. Yeah.
yes expand on that because personally I've seen
Okay.
NFTs on Twitter and I'm like, oh wow, someone actually bought this for thousands of dollars. Interesting. A lot of people have claimed that NFTs are the longest running scam in the universe. Like, yes, I've seen tweets like that, and I'm just like, Busayo is not going to like this, but that's why we're having our on this podcast today. We're having
No, no,
our this
no.
show
Yeah.
today.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I think people are just not understanding like the use cases of NFTs.
Okay.
So the buzz around like NFT, which is dying now, was oh, you just have a picture of, you know, picture of like a monkey and sell it. But like it's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
NFTs are supposed to serve as like identities, like something that identifies you, more
Okay.
like a certificate sort of. So for example, I'll give you some example. Like your boarding tickets can be an NFT. Your boarding pass can be an NFT.
Okay.
Your certificates, your university, your bachelor certificate can be an NFT.
Okay.
Such that, for example, if you want to like send your certificate from Nigeria to a school, maybe a school abroad or whatever, you don't have to like wait for your school to send it, all those processes. You just need to give them an ID and they can trace it on the blockchain and confirm that, yeah.
Okay.
So like things like certifications can be used as NFTs. So what I was saying now is like, I said I own some NFTs that enable me to be part of like some
Yeah.
communities.
Yeah.
So it's more like it identifies you.
Okay.
It's basically like a form of identity that identifies you. So
Okay.
because I have this NFT, I'm eligible to join this community. I'm eligible to be part of this community. It's just basically like the use case mostly is for identity,
Yeah.
which is what like people are just missing and they just want to like sell and cash out. But the major use case, in my opinion, is for identity,
Yeah.
to identify anything. For example, like I'm also working like on a educational platform that is more like it's going to be like Udemy, but like the courses that you take are going to be like NFTs.
Okay.
So like and the NFTs identify the courses. So the identity of the course is an NFT ID. And then when you're done with the course, instead of it to get like a certificate or whatever, you get an NFT
Hmm.
that can be traced on the block at
Okay.
any time.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's
So
just a
I would
matter
say like
of
my own use case of NFTs identity.
yeah. So I think it's just a matter of identity crisis. So I think NFTs were created for a certain thing, right? And I think people just turned that around a little bit because there was this period on Twitter where people were snapping their grandparents. I don't know if you remember this.
Yep.
Yeah. Put a picture
Yeah,
of
I
an old
remember.
man on Twitter and sell it like people, in fact, a friend of mine told me um someone made her create a Twitter account because the person saw that she likes taking pictures of nature. She would take pictures of trees, the oceans and stuff, and they'll be like, this is an NFT. Oh. Why are you wasting this picture? You get? Well, I think
Yeah.
what is
That's
really
crazy.
crazy to me is that all of those pictures, and personally I think I'd rather go with your own idea of what an NFT is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be for, which is
Yeah.
identification, because those pictures are so funny. You sell an NFT, as you sell a picture as an NFT,
Mhm.
right? On any
Yeah.
of these NFT platforms, say a body or a picture of your grandparent, or maybe you do a 3D sculpture, a graphic, 3D graphic or whatnot. And according to NFT logic, this person doesn't have the rights to the picture. The picture still belongs to the artist or the original owner or something like that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's not like selling real art. It's not like selling real art in the sense like, apologies to everybody that makes art. Please, real art. I
Yep.
don't want to get in trouble. I'm talking about like like physical art. It's not like making physical art, right? If you sell a painting, if you sell a physical painting, right, that painting is gone. It belongs to the owner now, except you want to recreate the
Mhm.
painting, right? But NFTs are not like that. So
No, they're
what's
actually like that. They're actually like that.
okay? Please
You
convince
transfer,
me.
yeah, you transfer the ownership. So when you like sell a piece of art or NFT, the person that buys it is the owner.
Okay,
Okay, I also want to mention that it's not just like art or like identity that I've mentioned. We also have things like music.
okay,
So for example, like we can have like music NFTs
okay,
where like a musician we have like their own collection
okay,
of NFTs.
okay.
So like yeah, you I mean just the same way like you purchase their music normally like now, you
Hmm.
can purchase like their music as NFTs.
Okay.
And then like you have like that NFT as yours. So there are different like applications, not just art, there's music, there's photos, there's videos, and a lot of things basically.
Okay. So what?
But I'm sure that over the years you see like more applications
Yeah.
over the years.
So what about the metaverse? What can you say about the metaverse? Because people are buying lands, people are building their companies there now, and basically it sounds like a place where you
Please
cannot
don't say buy land,
access.
please.
I'm serious. People are actually buying lands in the metaverse. I
No,
know it sounds weird,
you're
but it's the
sounding
Yeah.
truth.
like you sound like a Nigerian real estate salesperson.
But it's the truth now. We're
Buy land,
Nigerians now. I'm not going to say.
buy
So
Yeah, okay, so people buy
yes.
spaces.
Okay, so we are buying
Yeah.
properties. Sorry, not lands,
Yeah,
properties.
virtual
Yes.
properties. Yeah,
Virtual properties. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like a place where you cannot access without a VR headset. So why is this a thing, and why is
Yep.
it still going on this long?
Like I like I said before that metaverse to me like the whole concept is just another way of applying AI,
Mhm.
artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, and machine learning. So
Okay.
I will just say that the reason people are doing and buying all those stuff is they don't people are not like they are not interested in technology basically. Most
Mm.
people are just interested like in the buzz.
Yeah.
So like I think if people like work more on like understanding why it's like that, the technology, the application, I think it's better. But then I'm hoping I don't really know so much about the metaverse, but my own understanding is that I know it's trying to improve AI,
Mm.
machine learning, augmented reality, VR, and I'm hope to see like better changes
Mm.
as the year goes on.
Okay.
Mm, that's
Okay.
pretty.
I think
That's
that's
pretty
that's
hopeful.
a topic
Yeah.
for another day.
hmm
Mm.
So yeah, Nigeria tech and startups, like the whole thing mix. There's always like when it comes to Nigerian startups, like there's always news, there's always gospels, there's always something interesting every week. Either a founder is being crucified or an
Mm-hmm.
employee is being massacred or something's always happening, right?
Mhm.
So there was a time someone tweeted about like
I
Web3
don't know.
and
I don't know where
Nigerian
they
startups.
massacred any employee. Oh, I beg you.
Sorry, massacre is when they do for many people, Abby. Anyways. So someone tweeted that Nigerian startups like talk more about Web3 than they build. And that sparked a lot of conversations and some outrage, obviously. So I'm wondering, like, is this the same opinion you have in terms of like, if the ecosystem is really building Web3? First of all, we're not even really done with Web2 in Nigeria, right? And do you think we're in the position to build for Web3 and also like joining the revolution of the crypto thing?
Yeah, so I would say yeah, we're eligible. That sounds like really formal. But yeah, like we can build the future with three. But it's actually right, and it's not just in Nigeria, generally like all over the world. The people that actually like do a lot of building, they mostly just come out for like announcements and stuff. Then the people that don't really like do a lot of stuff are always like, oh, sorry to anybody that's listening. I know, like I told some of my friends, they said they are interested in listening to this podcast. But I believe that people who do like GM every day or like WAGMI every day, like on Twitter,
Mm,
I'll just let me just limit it to Twitter, like GM, this GM builders, whatever, like
mm,
every single day. And you're not like a company, you're not like the social manager of your company or something.
yeah.
I don't actually really take those kind of people serious, to
Oh
be
wow.
honest,
Oh
because
Ooh,
wow.
one makes
Oh wow.
yeah, what I'm expecting is
direct.
if you want to speak about like Web3, what I'm expecting is you come maybe with announcements, maybe like updates
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So and a lot of people like don't do that, just want to be like all over asking questions. Where are the female builders? Where are the male builders? Where are the kind of like funny questions. But I really hate like to see like the question like so where are all the female Web3 developers?
Mm,
From where to where, like people have been reading. Like if you really want to like find people, you know where to like get them. You don't
mm,
have to like go be asking like where are all the builders and whatever. You know how to find them. There are hackathons. Join a hackathon, you find builders there.
yeah.
Like some people had a call recently and they were asking them, oh, like they've not really met like female Web3 developers and stuff that they've not really heard about them. Yeah, and they're like they've not really seen like female developers or female Web3 people. And I'm like, it's because you are not like searching very well. You can just
Mm,
DM like a single person and ask, do you know, like I'm in a DAO, I'm in a community where we are like a lot of women there. I think we are more than 50. So
wow.
like what do you say happens? Yeah, what do you say happens to like all of them? And I see conferences where I see like women attend the conference, participate in hackathons, build stuff. So they are there. You're
Okay.
just not the one looking. So
Okay.
I would say that to be honest, noisemakers are more than the noisemakers are making noise
Mm,
than the people that are actually building,
Wow,
to
noise
be fair.
makers.
There are even memes around. Yeah, there are memes around where they put like people who talk about Web3, people who actually build Web3. It's like, you know, those memes like first year
yeah.
in
Yeah.
college, that's
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
like comparison
I'm
of that.
just I'm just glad you're the one that threw shade on today's episode because for everyone listening, we have nothing to do with this. Emmanuel and I were innocent. We didn't call anybody a noisemaker, so we'll drop Busayo's
It's
Twitter
fine.
handle in the show notes if you want to reach out to her personally.
Wow, you're
Uh
throwing our guests to the wolves. Wow.
so Busayo, to reduce the noisemakers, a little bit and bring up more builders. There's something whenever we talk about a technology or an aspect of tech, we usually like to ask our guests, how do you kind of get started, right? If someone is thinking of starting Web3 or, being involved and not being a noisemaker,
Yeah.
actually building stuff, what would you advise the person to kind of get started with? What communities would you as a person to join? How would the person just,
Okay.
just kind of, how can someone be a part of all of this?
Okay, well, I'll say like, so, I mean, I like this question because that was one of the challenges I had in 2019. Like, I was totally like clueless. I had like no community. There was no mentor. Like I didn't even know like where to learn stuff. But now there are so many communities, and I'm glad like I'm part of some of them that are like really really striving for education. Because I think one of the issues with Web3 that are stopping people from jumping like on board is they are not really educated. They don't really know much. There's no like much information, so they need to be like educated. So we have like a lot of educative DAOs. So I'll mention some one I'm part of. For example, I'm part of like Women Build Web3. Basically, it's a community for women and non-binary people who are like open to contributing to Web3. So basically, like we have like different projects. Like right now, we are doing a campaign for 30 days of Web3, and what we did is that we created like a course, introductory courses to different like concepts of blockchain, different tools, smart contracts, things that are basically like getting started. So we are currently doing like a campaign. So anybody that's listening, I think the registration is still on, so they can like check out Women Build Web3, 30 days of Web3, and they
Yeah,
register.
we'll include the
Then we
link.
have like
We'll include the link in the show notes for everyone to check it out.
yeah, and then we have like Learn Web3 DAO. Sorry, there's Learn Web3 DAO, which also like they do like educative stuff as well. Then we have Build Space. It's also a community where like they teach people how to like get onboarded and stuff. And then we have like several fellowships as well. Polygon, they have like different fellowships to come on board. There's also like Aya Fellowship. That's actually like a Nigerian owned fellowship, and it's basically mostly for people who want to become senior engineers for Web3. So if you're already like a senior engineer, for example, for Web2, it should be very easy for you. The fellowship will just like brush up your knowledge a little bit with concepts, and you'll be able to like be set up as a senior
Mm.
Web3 engineer. It's more like a pipeline to get on as a senior blockchain engineer. They're like
Okay.
different, and they're also like different hackathons. I also encourage people to participate in hackathons. Actually, they help
Okay.
you because
Yeah.
you get to like work. You know the way hackathons are now. So you get to like work with like different people. And
Yeah.
the thing with Web3 too is that, like you said before, it's based on like Web2. So for example, for the front end, we still use like the regular technologies, Next.js, Tailwind CSS. So like it's still like the regular technologies that is used for the front end. So if you're a front end developer, it's actually like very easy for you to even get onboarded
Get
to be
into.
very
Okay.
honest. So you
Okay.
just have to like the only thing that you just need to understand is maybe like how blockchain works, or like the
Yeah.
architecture, or like design
Yeah.
flow, basically. But your skills are still like very valid. So hackathons too are a good like place to learn. And then
Learn.
like there are several other communities here as
All
well.
right.
There's one I'm also part of. It's called Graphica. So
Okay.
Graphica is like a community where they're trying to like build up subgraph developers. So subgraph is basically like an ape, like is built on GraphQL basically to get data from the blockchain.
Mm.
So yeah, there's also like there are communities too like that. You can also like apply to become like an advocate for different protocols. There are like so many things, but our advisor community joining the community helps like a lot, and also
Yeah.
hackathons
Yeah.
help a lot.
Thank you so much, Busayo. That was great. So, I mean, we'll put the links for all the communities, for people interested in getting involved
Yeah.
in Web3.
Yeah. So we've come to the end of the show and would like to ask
Not the
a
show,
question
the
that
episode.
this is a show in a way. We've
This is
come to
an
the end of the
episode.
episode. Oh God, it's not about you. So we've come to the end of the episode, and we usually ask our guests one final question before we close.
All right.
And the question, as Chika would always say, is a personal question, which I don't think is a personal
Mm,
question, but anyways, it's a
it
personal
is.
question
It
according
is.
to
It's
Chika.
very personal.
Hey, all right. So the question is, if you're not in tech, what would you be doing?
If I'm not in tech, I'll probably like be married to a man and be talking.
What?
Sorry,
I'll be
married to whom? Married to whom?
A sugar daddy.
married to a rich man
To a rich man.
who
Mm.
can,
Well, I
yeah,
like where
married to a
your heart's in
all
the
the
right place. Priorities,
small, yeah. I'm living soft life, just be
Mm.
chopping his money,
You know
and he
what's
have like a
funny?
small business.
You know what's funny? I know Busayo personally, and I know that she's not bluffing. She would actually opt in for the soft life. In fact, waiting concern Busayo with big O notation. If you know, if
You get like what's DS?
Oh my
DS.
god.
What's DS and algorithm?
that's a honest answer. We usually don't get honest answers on this show a lot because some people like to lie, but it's all good. It's all good. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on today's episode. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I
we
enjoyed
learned a lot,
myself.
and we hope we can have you back here some other time. Maybe when
Yes,
Web3
sure,
is on
sure,
everyone's lips. All right.
sure. When you
Yeah.
guys are onboarded,
Yeah, no
sure.
wahala. No wahala. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Remember, we release new episodes every other Wednesday, and you can subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. If you would love to connect with us, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at insidethetechos, or subscribe to our newsletter and shoot us an email at insidetechosystem@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners. You can follow the host on Twitter as well, Chuka at Siwadiogu and Emmanuel at Olaoluwa_98. All right, see you in the next one.